What makes an experience an experience? When race days become race weekends, and race weekends become full-throttle memories.
To the checker, baby! Yeah, let's go!
So pull up in your camper, pick your favorite spot, first race or 50th season.
You did just win again. Oh my God!
A community that lives loud, loves hard, and celebrates every damn second.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you in studio here in Tuscaloosa before hitting the road to Troy, Alabama tonight for Alabama baseball against the Troy Trojans. But it's great to be with you on this Tuesday as we take a look at what's coming up on our show, plus our headlines, thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's on the show this afternoon. We're going to focus on baseball today. We will have some softball content coming out on our Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. But today we're hanging out in the outfield at Sewell Thomas Stadium, essentially with center fielder Bryce Fowler, as well as right fielder and sometimes left fielder Peyton Steele. Two back-to-back interviews with two outstanding outfielders from the Crimson Tide baseball team. The focus of today's show as we continue looking at what's ahead for Alabama baseball. And again, we'll have plenty of softball content, including an interview with Marty Hubbard of the Crimson Tide softball team and a full preview of the SEC tournament coming up on our Thursday show. But that's what's coming up. Bryce Fowler and Peyton Steele here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Looking at the rest of our headlines, thanks to our friends RJ Young. We start with baseball because last week was a fun weekend against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Crimson Tide earning a 3-game sweep, really pitched well, hit well, had defense well. Not too many errors this past weekend at the Joe. Solid sweep of Vanderbilt, the first time that's happened in 17 years for this Alabama baseball program against one of the SEC's best, last year's SEC tournament champions, the Vanderbilt Commodores. So some good momentum for Alabama. They'll try and keep it going tonight against the Troy Trojans. 6 p.m. will be the first pitch. That'll be our final midweek ball game of the season. Our radio airtime will be at 5:45 all across the network for Alabama at Troy. And then coming up this weekend, we'll be on the road as well for the final away series of the regular season. Alabama taking on South Carolina for 3 games at Founders Park. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll have more on that schedule coming up at the end of the show, but that's a look at Alabama baseball. For the softball team, also a sweep at home. It was Alabama hosting South Carolina, and the Crimson Tide pitching well, getting really timely hitting over the weekend to close out the regular season. Alabama sweeping South Carolina. Now this week, it's time for the tournament. The SEC softball tournament played in Lexington, Kentucky. Alabama just missing out on winning the regular season championship that went to Oklahoma, but so the Crimson Tide will be the number 2 seed for the SEC softball tournament coming up in Lexington, and the first game will be played on Thursday at 1 o'clock. And as I mentioned, we'll have a softball interview on Thursday's show with Marty Hubbard, as well as a full preview of the SEC tournament and just kind of where things stand with Gray Robertson. He'll be joined by Tom Canterbury to break down everything coming up in Lexington for the SEC tournament coming up this weekend. That's a look at our headlines, thanks to our friends RJ Young. Now it's time to talk baseball with Bryce Fowler. He's in his senior season for the Crimson Tide. He knows the time's starting to wind down for his time in a Crimson Tide jersey, but he played well in the interview that we had just coming off the series at Tennessee. When we recorded this interview, he kept it going this week against the Vanderbilt Commodores. We say hello once again this season to Bryce Fowler on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Starting to wind down all the games that we have left this season. Has the season kind of flown by in your eyes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people say the older you get, the more time flies by. So it definitely has, but just still trying to enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it as the Crimson Tide have some huge series coming up. What have you made of the last few weeks for Alabama? We've seen some great series wins. We've seen some series losses that have been really competitive as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, obviously, is just got to start playing clean baseball a little bit more often. Tennessee this weekend gave them the third game for sure. And then, Friday, the game 1 guy was good. That was just a tough one. But game 3 gave them that one on some errors and some miscues. And we've done that a couple times this year. So just, being on the fringe of maybe hosting, maybe not. And these last 3 series being huge and needing to go get some wins, you just got to play clean baseball.
I don't know, just overall you want wins, but when you mentioned hosting, is that a huge motivator for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always it's an advantage to play at the house. in front of a packed out house in the end of May for a regional, trying to punch your ticket to go to Omaha. So I just think playing at home's advantage for sure. I know last year we went to Southern Miss, like that. Their fans were unreal, rowdy and loud. So obviously hosting would be nice to have fans on our side and doing that for us.
You look back to the Tennessee series as we got ready for the first game on that Thursday night. Some huge changes in the lineup involving you. No longer you leading off, but you're batting cleanup. You ended up having a great performance. So I guess you like the switch in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I like the switch. It kind of threw me off a little bit. I went to look at the lineup card and I didn't see I was in the leadoff spot. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not playing today. I don't know. I was a little confused. And then I kind of just scrolled down the lineup and saw me in the 4-hole. First time I've ever batted 4-hole, so I got a little chuckle out of that for sure.
Yeah, and it led to some, I can believe, 3 doubles that night, drove in 3 runs as part of Alabama's win. And again, your timing a little bit off as well, because usually after the national anthem, it's go time for you on the road to get ready for that first at bat. Do you enjoy kind of waiting back in the dugout a little bit, seeing some of those early at bats come in?
Yeah, it's nice for sure. I think the biggest thing this weekend that I liked about it was, if I'm running off the field and we're at the top of the order, I don't have to rush to put my stuff on. I get a second to get a cup of water and chill for a second before I got to put all my stuff on to go hit. So I did enjoy it for sure.
That was good. And the guys were getting on base for you. Justin LeBron, Brendan Holt, and then Brady Neal continues to do his thing.
Yeah, that's huge. When those 3 guys above me get on and just give me a chance to do some damage. And if not, you got Eric Hines behind me like we saw this weekend. That guy deposited a ball, probably one of the farthest balls I've ever seen hit. But that's cool, even if they get on base in front of me and I don't get my job done, there's a freshman behind me who can step up and pick me up when I don't come through. So that's pretty cool to see.
Have you been seeing some home runs like that from Eric, even if it's in batting practice or anything like that, going back to the fall?
Yeah, he's been hitting balls like that since he stepped on campus in August. So I would probably say that ball he hit at Tennessee and the one he hit at Arkansas on Friday night those were pretty impressive for sure.
Yeah, they really were. He continues to get some playing time both as the DH and in left field. What have you liked about playing right next to him as he continues kind of his development as an outfielder along with being a hitter? Yeah,
just making sure, obviously freshman on the road in a hostile environment, just making sure the moment doesn't get too big and just, helping him out, making sure he's where he needs to be and, that his nerves are calm. And, he's done a really good job of that as a freshman. So I think him being in the lineup now every day and just, getting the feel of how things go and what we do. So I think that's been a huge part of it. And I haven't had to say too much out there. He's handled it pretty well for a young pup.
Yeah, the young pups have taken over at times over the last few weeks. What do you make of some of the at-bats we've also seen from guys like Caleb Barnett, Andrew Purdy, and then Chase Kroberger?
Yeah, obviously they're the future of this program. When us seniors are gone and Justin LeBron's gone, it's going to be on them. So I think it's pretty cool having them play a little bit with us and, kind of teaching them the reins and how things go and what we do around here. And then that way when we're gone, you throw them the keys to the car, as Coach Vaughn would say, and just go for a ride. So it's pretty cool, the young pups getting a shot and doing some damage. So it's nice to see for sure. It
really is. So you guys getting back to the Joe coming up for Alabama against Vanderbilt this weekend. What do you just enjoy the most about the home games you get to play here and the crowd atmosphere we built up?
Yeah, obviously you get your walk-up song, so that's always a good thing. But just playing in front of the crowd, having them behind you is huge. I know going on the road and you play in a hostile environment, it can be tough to play in. So I think when you have those hostile fans on your side at home, I think it's just a game changer and a huge difference.
It's been cool to kind of run into some of the same fans time and time again, whether it's maybe some autograph signings or just after the ball game, people hanging out.
Yeah, it's always good. They show up for us, so I think it's important. I go talk to my parents or family or whatever up top after the game. I think, if somebody stops me and wants an autograph, I'm always going to do it. I think it's just important to get back to them. They took time out of their day to come watch us. So, taking 10, 15 seconds to talk to somebody or take a picture, give an autograph can't hurt.
How much fun is your family having this season, kind of savoring every little step of the way of your senior year?
Yeah, they're having a good time. They've been to most of the games this year, with it being my last year. So they're trying to soak it in just like I am. So, it's been fun for sure. I know they came to Frisco and stuff like that, so they've kind of been trying to come to as many games as possible. So it's been fun for them to be able to tag along and watch for the last year.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, we're lucky. Well, 2 of the last 3 weekends are going to be at home here in Tuscaloosa as we gear up for some really important baseball. Just what would you say is a big motivating factor from Coach Vaughn? Like, how does he keep you guys really sharp and locked in on what's ahead?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, I mean, like I said earlier, just the miscues. You just got to play clean baseball. Like, I mean, you look at it, and if there's probably 4 games in there that if we, play clean baseball, we're sitting in a different seat right now. But that's just how it is. It's baseball. Stuff happens. So where we're at right now is where we're at. So, but these next 3 weeks, 2 of them, like you said, are at the crib. So that's also helpful. You get to play in front of your fans and on your field. So that's good. But you just got to play clean baseball at the end of the day. I think if we play clean baseball, get rid of some of the miscues in the field, and get going a little bit better offensively as a whole, myself included, because I know I've been struggling the last week and a half or so. So I think if we just, get back to what we were against Florida and Auburn and Oklahoma, then I think we'll be in a good spot. We just got to get back to that and believe that.
Yeah, individually, what do you feel like you're working on right now at the plate?
Yeah, I think just the last week or so, the timing's been off a little bit. Nothing like swing mechanical or anything like that. Just the timing's been off, and it felt better this weekend and felt like I was doing a better job. So we had a good practice Wednesday and did some stuff as an offense as a whole. So I think that kind of got me back on track.
Yeah, is it really BP time in the cages that help you get your timing back?
Yeah, we just did some BP machine stuff on the field at Tennessee Wednesday, and just some like angle BP stuff and some mini hack and just kind of getting on time for the fastball, and I think that helped a lot. So
that's awesome. Well, Bryce, you're doing a great job for the Crimson Tide, whether you're hitting leadoff or cleanup. But we look forward to seeing the lineup card coming up against Vanderbilt in the next few weeks. Just thank you for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Roll Tide. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
What makes an experience an experience? When race days become race weekends and race weekends become full throttle memories.
To the checker, baby, yeah, let's go!
So pull up in your camper, pick your favorite spot, first race or 50th season.
You did just win again. Oh my God!
A community that lives loud, loves hard, and celebrates every damn second.
Staying in the outfield, catching up with Peyton Steele. Second time he's joined us on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR this spring, talking all about a great weekend for him at the plate against Tennessee and everything ahead for the Crimson Tide. Peyton, it's good to see you. How's everything going for you and the Crimson Tide baseball team? Is now the season really starting to wind down?
Absolutely. We got about 10 games left of the season, and we're hoping to win all 10 of them. For me, as a player right now, I think it's going pretty well for me. I found a new stride that I needed to find earlier in the season, but right now it's going pretty good for me.
You mentioned finding a new stride. Where'd that really come from? From some game experience you had, some work you put in the cages, batting practice? Where'd that come from?
There was a few tweaks I made with my swing, but I think everything was mental. I think just walking up to the plate knowing that I'm supposed to be here and I'm a good player and there's a reason I'm here, and acting like that in the box and not being scared to, mess up or anything, and unafraid to crash and burn, as Coach Vaughn says. So I think that was a big part of it, really just mental.
When you are tweaking a swing, who are the coaches you're working with the most? Is that Coach Papio, Coach Vaughn give some input?
Well, Coach Vaughn will give some input, but it's mainly Coach Pap. And, I've had a bunch of coaches growing up, and I'll text message them. I'll send them a video or something like that. So I got a big group I can go to, and it helps out a lot.
It really does. And this past weekend when we saw you Alabama playing at Tennessee on Thursday night, you're not in the starting lineup. Justin Osterhaus is in left field, but he's getting ready on deck. Just take us through the next few moments of what turned out to be a crazy night for you.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was just kind of leaning on the dugout there, and I see J.O. go down. I was like, oh, shoot, I got to go get my stuff on. Here we go. And I take a look at the scouting report and, the pitch mixes and everything like that. And I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Time to send it. And that was also a time where I was like, okay, well, I got to do it. Like, I can't be afraid now. Like, the stadium is full of Tennessee fans, but I hate Tennessee, and this is like a dream come true. So, it was awesome. Now, that at-bat didn't turn out the way I liked it to, but the next at-bat did, and I was happy about that. Yeah,
it turned out to be a pretty good weekend for you at the plate. What are you most proud of all the hard work you've done, it paying off in a lot of ways in that series?
Really, just like I said earlier, like, it's Tennessee. Like, no Alabama fan or player likes playing Tennessee, and I'll be honest, I don't think I like Tennessee as much, or I think I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn, to be honest with you, that burnt orange. But, just the process and everything that I've done throughout my life to set me up for that point right there, and it was awesome. I'm glad I got to got an opportunity and played well and did the most of my opportunity right there.
So it's pretty clear you were not named after Peyton Manning.
Actually, this is pretty cool. My middle name's also Eli.
Heard that.
So,
yeah. So what's any connection or?
It's not really a connection. I mean, my parents always joked about it and said I was always named after Peyton and Eli Manning, but they just really liked Peyton and Eli. And I was actually supposed to have like a double name and go by Peyton Eli, but I kind of grew out of that. I didn't really like that too much, so I just go by Peyton now.
Just go by Peyton. Peyton did pretty well in Knoxville during his college days, and then again, you did pretty well. Talk about that home run you hit on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a big momentum changer. I was batting ninth in the lineup, and we still hadn't had a base runner or a hit yet by then. So that homer I feel like was a big momentum shift in the game, and I think we got back on track there for a minute, and we led the game for most of the game, and then that big inning happened for us, and that we just got to avoid those if we want to get to where we want to be in the future of the season. Absolutely.
Anytime you have a tough night like that doubleheader or the UAB game earlier in the week, what's the messaging from Coach Vaughn trying to get you guys back on track?
Not dwelling in the past, moving on from it. We're all SEC baseball players, but we do make mistakes, and at the same time, we got to be able to work off of those mistakes. And physical mistakes are going to happen, but like he said yesterday, he talked to us after practice. We just can't have mental mistakes. I think we've all played baseball a long enough time to understand that mental mistakes can't happen at this level. Now, obviously, like I said, physical mistakes are going to happen, but just limiting those mental mistakes as much as we can, I think, will help us out the most.
They really will, and especially getting home back to Tuscaloosa. You excited about the Vandy series coming up as well as what we have to close out the regular season against Ole Miss, specifically getting to play here at home?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it'll help us out a lot getting to play here at home, and this Vandy series is a big one for us. There's still a good chance we host. We got 9 SEC games left, and what do we need? Six to host. So we're pretty excited about these next 9 games.
Is that a pretty good motivating factor, the idea of getting to be back here in June?
Absolutely. Coach Vaughn talked to us after practice for about 20 minutes yesterday, and he was just like, who cares about what happens in the past, your numbers? Nobody cares about your average. Just play for the guys that are next to you and play for a hosting spot in June. So that's what we're doing now.
And that's pretty exciting as well. You're part of the younger group of players as a sophomore this year, but knowing that some of these guys, if you don't get to host in June, they may not get to play again at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Is that a motivating factor as well?
Absolutely, and that was another thing Coach Vaughn talked about. Some of these guys only have 10, maybe 11 guaranteed games left in their career if you count the SEC tournament. But, yeah, like putting myself in those shoes, I'd start to panic a little bit if I knew I had 11 guaranteed games left in my career maybe. And, I absolutely want to play for those guys and play my butt off for those guys.
Absolutely. We've also seen some freshmen get to step up to the plate and do some special things. First of all, where were you in the dugout? Could you see the ball from Eric Hines leave the yard or just disappear like it did for all of us?
Well, I saw it off the bat, and I was like, okay, well, here we go. And then I looked, I was like, oh, no, please don't go foul. And then it was fair, and I was like, gosh, I'm so happy for that guy. I mean, he's just the best guy ever. He's a great teammate, great kid. I mean, I wish nothing but the best for him. He's an awesome dude.
That's got to make you excited for what I know you're living in the moment, living for this year, but you got to be excited about the young core of players Alabama's going to have for next year as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this freshman class right now is absolutely elite. I mean, they are so talented. Chase Kroberger, Andrew Purdy, Caleb Barnett, even Evan Taylor that hasn't seen much time on the field. He's a really good baseball player. And even the pitchers, too, like Joe Girardo and Luke Smyers, Miles Upchurch, obviously. They're really good. And I left out the big one, Eric Hines. He's just been playing out of his mind, and I'm hoping he does continue that, which he will. I wouldn't be shocked if he did.
That's really exciting. The last time you were here, you talked about your engineering major. How'd everything shape out spring finals for you?
I still got a few left, but I got one out of the way. So far, so good. But golly, I'm working my butt off for it.
I bet.
Late nights and early mornings studying, it's part of it though. I signed up for it and I knew what I was signing up for.
pretty good resources too within athletics to help you guys kind of manage the workload you have in the classroom along with all the baseball?
Absolutely. We have tutoring. I could get tutoring 5 times a week if I wanted to. I only have it 2 times a week for math and then my engineering classes. But yeah, our resources at Bryan are awesome. They're awesome.
Well, as we say goodbye to this episode of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR, what's your parting message for the Alabama fans as they get ready for the Vanderbilt series as well as everything you guys have coming up in the month of May?
I'd say to stick with us. The past is the past, and there's nothing we can do about that right now. But these next 3 practice days, we are working our tails off to get better and, push for 6, 7, maybe 8 SEC wins over the next few series. And, yeah, just come out, support us. We'd love to have y'all there.
I'd love to see it. Well, Peyton Steele, all the best to you as you continue playing well for the Crimson Tide. Just thank you again for your time with us on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Now we take a look at our upcoming schedule to see what's coming up for Alabama baseball and softball this weekend here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Don't show it on the graphic, but do want to remind you tonight Alabama baseball is coming up against Troy. 6 p.m. will be the first pitch. Our radio airtime will be 5:45. Then on Thursday we'll be busy in the afternoon. The softball team will be starting its run at the SEC tournament at 1 o'clock with games to follow over the next few days coming up in Lexington, Kentucky with wins for Alabama. We'll have radio coverage with Tom Canterbury, Gray Robertson all weekend long, so just stay tuned to our social media platforms for the latest details on our softball broadcast. Thursday, we'll also have another edition of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR that will really focus on the Alabama softball team. Then Friday through Sunday, for sure we know Alabama will be taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks in baseball. It will be a Friday night game, but for us, Central Time will be pretty early. 4:30 will be the start time for Alabama baseball against South Carolina, so we'll hit the air coming up at 4:15 coming up on Friday, and then a noon start time on Saturday, 12:30 on Sunday to wrap up Alabama's final road trip of the regular season. Then the Crimson Tide will be at home this upcoming week, hosting the Ole Miss Rebels Thursday through Saturday. So for more information, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms at UA_CTSN so you don't miss anything coming up from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's going to wrap up this busy edition of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest, Bryce Fowler Peyton Steele of the Alabama baseball team. We look forward to more softball content coming your way on our Thursday edition, Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR, coming up at 2 o'clock. Thanks as well to John Lassiter and his content team for helping us at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center with those podcast interviews. And thanks to all of you for watching. This is Roger Hoover. I got to hit the road to Troy, Alabama. Baseball tonight between Alabama and Troy. Until then, have a safe start to your week and Roll Tide.